Imagine this: you are standing in the middle of an ancient city, surrounded by bustling marketplaces, narrow streets, and towering stone walls. It is the year 970 BC, and you are in Jerusalem, the heart of King David's reign over Israel. The air is thick with the sounds of merchants calling out their wares, children playing, and the distant hum of daily life. But amidst the vibrancy, there is also a shadow, a constant undercurrent of injustice, oppression, and suffering that plagues the most vulnerable members of society. Now, here's something curious. Did you know that one of the oldest prayers ever written addresses these very issues head-on? This prayer, known as Psalm 10, speaks directly to the struggles faced by humanity, then and now. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to thrive through cruelty while others suffer silently without relief? The answer lies within this timeless text, which not only reflects the pain of its era but also offers hope for all generations. Psalm 10 is part of the Hebrew Bible, specifically nestled among what scholars call the Psalms of Lament. These psalms were crafted during times of crisis when individuals or communities turned to God with raw honesty, expressing their fears, frustrations, and hopes. While tradition attributes Psalm 10 to King David, historians believe it may have been composed later, possibly during the Babylonian exile around 586 BC, a period marked by immense suffering and displacement for the Jewish people. Regardless of its exact origins, the themes of this psalm transcend time and geography. They speak to universal human experiences. Why does evil seem to prevail? Why do the innocent suffer? And where is God in all of this? To truly understand Psalm 10, we must first immerse ourselves in its historical context. Imagine living in a world where power was concentrated in the hands of a few, leaving the poor, widows, and orphans at the mercy of corrupt rulers and ruthless opportunists. Injustice wasn't just an abstract concept, it was a daily reality. Yet even in such darkness, faith persisted. People clung to the belief that, despite appearances, God had not abandoned them. This tension between despair and trust forms the backbone of Psalm 10, making it a powerful meditation on justice, divine presence, and ultimate redemption. Why, O Lord, do you stand far off? Why do you hide yourself in times of trouble? These opening words strike a chord deep within us because they articulate a question many have asked throughout history. If God is good and all-powerful, why doesn't He intervene when we need Him most? At first glance, this verse might sound like doubt or frustration, but upon closer examination, it reveals profound faith. In Hebrew, the phrase, stand far off, can also mean withdraw, suggesting that God's apparent absence isn't permanent. It's a temporary withdrawal designed to teach patience, perseverance, and reliance on His timing. Think about it. How often do we expect immediate answers to our prayers? How frequently do we demand clarity when what we really need is trust? David's cry here reminds us that questioning God isn't wrong, it's natural, but it should always be rooted in faith rather than fear. As the psalm continues, it paints a vivid picture of the wicked who exploit the weak. In his arrogance, the wicked man hunts down the weak, who are caught in the schemes he devises. This description feels chillingly modern, doesn't it? Whether it's corporate greed exploiting workers, governments oppressing minorities, or individuals taking advantage of those less fortunate, the pattern remains the same. The wicked operate from a place of pride and selfishness, believing they are untouchable. But notice how the psalmist uses language that evokes imagery of hunting, an intentional choice meant to highlight the predatory nature of such behavior. It's not enough for the wicked to simply ignore the vulnerable. They actively seek them out, devising cunning plans to trap and harm them. This raises another critical question. Why does God allow such people to succeed, at least temporarily? The answer lies in understanding free will. God grants humans the freedom to choose between good and evil, knowing that true righteousness cannot exist without the possibility of wrongdoing. However, this freedom comes with consequences, both for the oppressor and the oppressed. The psalm goes on to describe the mindset of the wicked in haunting detail. He boasts about the cravings of his heart. He blesses the greedy and reviles the Lord. Here, we see the inner workings of someone who has rejected moral accountability. Their arrogance blinds them to the truth, leading them to glorify their own desires above all else. They mock the idea of divine justice, convinced that their actions will go unpunished. Yet the psalmist counters this delusion with a sobering reminder. But you, God, see the trouble of the afflicted, you consider their grief and take it in hand. Though the wicked may appear invincible, God sees everything, their schemes, their cruelty, and the pain they inflict. Nothing escapes his notice, and though justice may seem delayed, it is never denied. This assurance of divine intervention provides comfort, but it also challenges us to reflect on our role in combating injustice. Are we passive observers, or do we actively stand against oppression in whatever form it takes? Psalm 10 invites us to align ourselves with God's vision of justice, advocating for the marginalized and defending the defenseless. Consider this: every act of kindness, no matter how small, contributes to tipping the scales toward righteousness. Every voice raised in protest against corruption amplifies the call for change. We are not merely bystanders in this story, we are participants, called to partner with God in bringing light to the darkest corners of society. Returning to the psalm, we encounter a plea for action. Break the arm of the wicked and evil man. Call him to account for his wickedness that would not otherwise be found out. This request underscores the importance of accountability. Evil thrives in secrecy, hidden behind facades of respectability or protected by systems of power. By exposing the truth and holding wrongdoers accountable, we disrupt the cycle of exploitation. But again, timing plays a crucial role. The psalmist acknowledges that justice operates according to God's perfect plan, which may not align with our sense of urgency. Patience becomes a virtue, not a weakness, as we wait for God's purposes to unfold. One of the most striking aspects of Psalm 10 is its unwavering confidence in God's character. Despite the prevalence of evil, the psalmist declares, "The Lord is king forever and ever. The nations will perish from his land." This declaration serves as a reminder that earthly powers, no matter how formidable, are fleeting. Empires rise and fall, tyrants come and go, but God's reign endures eternally. His sovereignty assures us that no matter how dire circumstances may seem, they are temporary. Hope is not naive optimism, it is grounded in the unshakable truth of God's eternal kingship. Throughout the psalm, we see a recurring theme of contrast: the wicked versus the righteous, arrogance versus humility, oppression versus justice. These dichotomies reflect the broader spiritual battle that rages within each of us. Will we succumb to selfish ambition, or will we pursue righteousness? Will we remain silent in the face of injustice, or will we speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves? Psalm 10 challenges us to examine our hearts and choose wisely, knowing that our decisions have eternal significance. Let's pause for a moment to consider the structure of this psalm. Unlike many other psalms, Psalm 10 lacks a formal introduction or conclusion. Instead, it flows seamlessly from lament to praise, mirroring the journey of faith itself. Life rarely follows a neat trajectory. Instead, it oscillates between moments of despair and triumph. Psalm 10 captures this ebb and flow beautifully, offering a realistic portrayal of the human experience. Its lack of resolution reminds us that faith is ongoing, a continuous dialogue with God rather than a one-time event. Now let's delve deeper into the closing verses of the psalm. You hear, O Lord, the desire of the afflicted. You encourage them and listen to their cry, defending the fatherless and the oppressed, in order that man, who is of the earth, may terrify no more. These final words encapsulate the essence of Psalm 10, a prayer for deliverance coupled with a promise of protection. God hears the cries of the afflicted, not passively but actively. He intervenes, defends, and restores. This assurance empowers the vulnerable, reminding them that they are not alone. It also serves as a warning to oppressors: your reign of terror will end, for God champions the cause of the downtrodden. Reflecting on Psalm 10, we begin to see its relevance extend far beyond its original audience. Its message resonates across cultures, centuries, and continents, addressing the timeless struggle between good and evil. Whether we live in ancient Jerusalem or modern-day New York City, the questions posed by this psalm remain pertinent. Where is God in the midst of suffering? What role do we play in promoting justice? And how can we maintain hope when darkness seems overwhelming? The answers lie not in simplistic platitudes but in a nuanced understanding of God's character and His redemptive plan for humanity. To fully grasp the impact of Psalm 10, we must recognize its literary brilliance. The psalm employs vivid imagery, emotional depth, and theological insight to convey its message. For instance, the depiction of the wicked as hunters preying on the weak creates a visceral reaction, forcing readers to confront uncomfortable truths about human nature. Similarly, the juxtaposition of despair and hope mirrors the complexities of faith, acknowledging the coexistence of doubt and trust. Such artistic craftsmanship ensures that the psalm transcends its historical context, speaking directly to the hearts of contemporary readers. Moreover, Psalm 10 invites us to engage in self-reflection. Are we complicit in perpetuating systems of oppression, whether knowingly or unknowingly? Do we use our resources and influence to uplift others or to advance our own interests? These questions challenge us to examine our motives and actions critically. Faith, after all, is not merely intellectual assent. It is lived out in tangible ways that demonstrate love, compassion, and justice. Psalm 10 calls us to embody these values, becoming agents of change in a broken world. As we conclude our exploration of Psalm 10, let us return to the central question posed at the beginning: why does a 3,000-year-old prayer still resonate today? The answer lies in its authenticity. Psalm 10 doesn't shy away from difficult emotions or uncomfortable realities. It embraces the full spectrum of human experience, from anguish to adoration, from despair to hope. It reminds us that faith is not about having all the answers but about trusting in God's goodness, even when the path ahead is unclear. In a world often dominated by cynicism and despair, Psalm 10 offers a beacon of hope. It reassures us that God sees our pain, hears our cries, and acts on behalf of the oppressed. But it also challenges us to join Him in this mission, standing firm against injustice and extending grace to those in need. As we internalize its message, may we find renewed strength to navigate life's challenges with courage, compassion, and unwavering faith. So, as you step back into your own time and place, carry with you the wisdom of Psalm 10. Let it inspire you to seek justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. Remember, the battle between good and evil continues, but the outcome is certain. God reigns supreme, and His promises endure forever. Before you go, I want to personally invite you to be part of our growing community here at Prayer Universe. If this video touched your heart or brought you peace, take a moment to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a prayer or message that can uplift your spirit. But most importantly, I'd love to hear from you. In the comments below, share just one word or phrase of motivation that this video inspired in you, whether it's hope, gratitude, peace, or something else. Your words matter deeply to us because they help guide the content we create for this channel. Together, let's build a space filled with faith, encouragement, and connection. Thank you for being here, and remember, every prayer counts. See you in the next one.